My boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend, so I made sure they'd never forget it. Have you ever trusted someone so completely only to find out they were stabbing you in the back the entire time? When my boyfriend and best friend betrayed me, I didn't just walk away. I made sure they'd regret it for the rest of their lives. Josh and I met in our final year of college. I remember the day so clearly. He was sitting under a tree, headphones on, sketching something in a notebook. He had that quiet, artsy vibe that made him stand out from the loud frat boys who dominated the campus. He wasn't traditionally handsome, but his deep-set eyes and crooked smile gave him a charm that felt real. We clicked instantly. Josh had this way of making me feel safe, like I could tell him anything and he'd never judge me. He was the guy who would bring me soup when I was sick, leave little notes in my textbooks before exams, and always remember the small details about my favorite books or songs. Emily, on the other hand, was the kind of person who turned heads wherever she went. She had this effortless beauty, long wavy auburn hair that seemed to catch the light perfectly, green eyes that sparkled like emeralds, and a killer hourglass figure. But it wasn't just her looks that drew people in. She had a magnetic personality, confident, funny, and just a little bit dangerous. We became friends in high school when she swooped in to defend me from a bully. From that moment on, we were inseparable. Emily was the sister I never had, my rider. She always knew how to cheer me up, whether it was sneaking out for late-night milkshakes or dragging me to parties I'd never have attended on my own. When I introduced Emily to Josh, they hit it off right away. She teased him relentlessly, calling him broody artist boy, while he fired back with sarcastic comments that always made her laugh. I thought it was cute how well they got along. I never imagined that connection would become something else. About 6 months ago, everything started to change. It wasn't dramatic at first, just small, subtle shifts. Josh became more protective of his phone, always keeping it face down or in his pocket. He started staying late at work more often, claiming he was swamped with deadlines. Emily, too, was acting strange. She'd always been the first to like and comment on my Instagram posts, but suddenly she was silent. She canceled our weekly coffee dates more often than not, saying she was too busy with work. Emily texted me at the last minute saying she had a migraine and couldn't make it to dinner. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? Josh, who had promised to plan something special, showed up empty-handed. He forgot to book the restaurant I'd been talking about for weeks and barely made an effort to salvage the night. We ended up eating greasy takeout on the couch while he scrolled through his phone. That night, as I stared at the sad, single cupcake he'd picked up on his way home, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. A few weeks later, I started noticing more inconsistencies. Emily had always been active on social media, posting selfies, gym pics, and aesthetic shots of her morning lattes. But lately, her posts had become cryptic. A candlelit table for two, a shadowy figure in the background, a wine glass clinking against another. Meanwhile, Josh was growing colder. He stopped asking about my day, stopped cuddling me on the couch. He'd always been affectionate, but now he barely touched me. Then came the business trip. Josh told me he had to go out of town for a few days to meet with a client. Something about the way he avoided eye contact when he said it set off alarm bells. That weekend, Emily went radio silent. She didn't answer my texts, and when I called, it went straight to voicemail. My gut told me the two were connected, but I couldn't prove it. Yet, the truth came to light one random Tuesday night. Josh had left his iPad at home while he went to play poker with the guys. Normally, I wouldn't have touched it, but something compelled me to check. It only took a few swipes to confirm my worst fears. Josh and Emily had been texting constantly, planning meetups, exchanging explicit messages, even mocking me for being too naive to notice. My stomach churned as I scrolled through their conversation. There was in black and white, my boyfriend and my best friend betraying me behind my back. I could have confronted them right away, but where's the fun in that? If they wanted to play dirty, I'd show them just how messy things could get. First, I withdrew half the money from the joint savings account Josh and I had been building for our Europe trip. It was technically my money too, and I wasn't about to let him use it to fund his secret romance. Next, I gathered evidence. Screenshots of their texts. Photos of Josh and me during the same time frames they were sneaking around. Every detail was carefully cataloged. Then I started creating the ultimate revenge scrapbook. Each page told a story. The night you said you were working late. Guess Emily's place counts as overtime? Your business trip? Oh, you mean the romantic weekend getaway with my best friend? Finally, I planned the reveal. I mailed the scrapbook to Josh's office, ensuring it would arrive during his weekly team meeting. For Emily, I sent a bouquet of black roses with a card that read, "R.I.P. to our friendship. Please check your texts. I know everything." When Josh came home that night, his face was pale, his hands shaking. He stammered excuses, but I cut him off. I handed him an envelope with my half of the lease buyout and walked out the door. Emily tried to call me, but I blocked her. I wasn't interested in hearing her excuses. Their relationship didn't last long. From what I heard, they fought constantly, probably because neither of them could trust the other. I took that Europe trip solo. I wandered through the streets of Paris, drank wine in Tuscany, and even kissed a charming Italian bartender under the moonlight. Back home, I threw myself into new hobbies: rock climbing, painting, and joining a book club. For the first time in years, I felt truly free. Looking back, I don't regret a thing. Sometimes the best way to heal is to set fire to the bridges you never want to cross again. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have handled it differently, or do you think my revenge hit the mark? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more juicy stories. Thanks for watching.